Ja, dann geht's gleich weiter. Darf alle begrüßen zum Vortrag über Interactive Media. I'll switch to English now because it's in, oder sind, are you all German speaking or should I? Alle auf Deutsch? Okay, dann mache ich auf Deutsch. Oder should we record it in English? I think we recorded, that's why I stay in English, sorry. Okay, my name is Rimba Sommer. I'm the pedagogic coordinator of this program. I'll start with our main topics in this master. So you see we have different topics that we are focused on. It's the games topic, user experience, web, online, and data journalism. And we are embedded in the Department of Digital Media. So there are several programs with the same stuff, let's say. We have the Media Technology and Design bachelor's program and the Digital Arts bachelor's program. And interactive media is following the Media Technology and Design, but of course you can also join from the outside. And also in digital arts there's a master's program, but we still cooperate also on the master's level if students want to. So topic cloud, trying to impress with a lot of topics that we all handle in our program. You see we are buzzword safe. It's a lot of stuff that we try to accomplish and have in our lectures and projects. Maybe I show you some examples where people can go after they finished our program. I'll start with Theo Babic. He was also in our research lab, and there we had a program or a project together with BMW, and he stayed there. So he was able to start at BMW and is now UX designer there, looking for the future of cars, let's say. We also have some of our alumni that joined the academic path. So Alex Jon is now a professor at Carnegie Mellon University. So she did her promotion, her doctor, and then went to the US and is now a professor there. Stefan Wasserbauer again went to business and works at Dynatrace, is their mixed reality captain, for example now. Christine Altlanger-Winter, she was an alumni several years ago, but she's now country director at Google Austria and Switzerland, so very prominent role there. Daniel Leitner again took the academic path, and also he got a professorship at the University of Colorado. So we have people in business, we have people in academics, both is possible. So just in a nutshell, our program, it's a degree Masters of Science in Engineering, takes 4 semesters, 120 ECTS. We have 24 intake every year, maybe a little bit more that we take, and it's a full-time study, but the schedule is not that tight as in a bachelor's program. So typically we try to keep 1 day per week free, so people tend to work beside 10 to 15 hours is okay. We also have a research lab, and also some people work with our research lab. If we have funded projects, there's the possibility to work there. And oftentimes this leads to an academic path, because then you can do your doctor there, and so we cooperate with universities, with the JKU, for example, that you can also do a promotion. A prerequisite, you have to have a bachelor's degree, and as we say, IT-related elements worth at least 60 ECTS. So basically, you should have a little background in IT. You should know programming, because we are a technical study, and our projects are technical partly. But if unsure, apply, and we will have a talk, and then we can check it out if it's sufficient. And good proficiency in English. All our lectures are in English, but all our professors are German speaking, Austrians typically. So in between we can talk in German also. And there's no formal requirement of some level, but again, in our admissions interview, we will talk about this and check if it's sufficient. So let's look at the inside, at the curriculum. Here you see the overview. On the left side is the main structure, 4 semesters in the columns. And we have some core courses that you have to take, 2 in the first 2 semesters, 1 in the 3rd semester, none in the 4th semester. I think the titles are quite telling, but I will just walk through. Human-computer interaction the first semester and artificial intelligence foundations there. In the 2nd semester, it's about information visualization and software design methods. And in the 3rd semester, you already start with your master's thesis phase. You see already the dark green boxes are the hours you get for conducting your master's thesis. And you do the practical part of your master's thesis here, in the thesis project there. There's the pointer. But you have to come up with your master's topic already in the 3rd semester, and we will have workshops in these research procedures and methods where we discuss your topic and help you get into details there. We have some lectures on scientific reading, scientific writing, also on ethics in research, on sustainability. That's just companioning your master's thesis phase, getting your topic. And at the end, we have a conference, a scientific conference. So you have to write a paper about your topic, basically, containing the literature research already, and already what you plan for doing the evaluation and so. And we're using a real conference system. You have to upload your paper. You have to review the papers of your peers. So we really do the whole workflow of a conference, so you get to know this stuff. And then we have the conference at the end. We will select some papers to be presented, some papers to be shown as posters, and you get a feel what research is like and what those conferences are like. Yeah, and you also have already some time here for research. That's the green master's thesis 1 box. There are no lectures, it's just time for your research. So it really should be, it is a lot to do, and we tried to give you the time for it. And then in the 4th semester, the green, dark green bar, that's the time you take to write your master's thesis. Okay, those are the core courses and the master's thesis phase. Then projects, I already talked about the thesis project. We also have projects in the 1st and 2nd semester. They are a very important part of our program, and also a possibility for you to dive deep into some topic. We provide topics typically at the beginning of the semester. If you have a great idea of a topic, you can also go to an advisor and talk to him, and then you can also do this. But typically we have a list of topics, and in communication, interaction with some advisor, you can also have your own topic. And with the projects, I showed you before the DA Master, Digital Arts Master. Sometimes students also work together with Digital Arts Masters for doing some installation or some game where Digital Arts Masters does the assets maybe, and we do the logic part of things. Okay, that's the projects. And then we have a number of electives. Each semester 2 electives. And on the right side, you see the catalog of our electives. We tried to order them a little bit in the 4 topics I showed you in the beginning. The first one is the UX interactive lane, let's say. So the lectures here are real-time graphics, so computer graphics programming, visual computing, computer vision, detecting objects and images. Of course, a lot of AI is here in place right now. User interfaces is a continuation, let's say, from HCI from the first semester. But here you work with interfaces like audio or touch input or so. So not the traditional keyboard and screen, but other kind of interaction. And then pervasive computing, Internet of Things maybe, distributed systems like the colleague just showed you before. He said the IoT part. The professor that does this lecture also worked with the IoT part there. And he is also studying interactive media now, by the way. Then we have our games track, advanced game design. The first lecture there, you work in groups, and you see here those two are marked because they are shared with digital arts. So here people from digital arts and interactive media work together on a game to get to know each other and work in small teams. As I said, we also have people that come from the outside. Here they also learn game programming, game engine, Unity, for example, and they create a game together. Then we have real-time engineering. Here we take a game engine, but don't create the typical game, but maybe some installation or simulation. The whole class works together to create a big project. So for example, we had a submarine simulator that was built, or a fishing simulator where you have a VR set and you have some hardware simulating how the rod runs around. So it's really fascinating and big projects that get done. This semester, I just think what they are do, maybe I remember later. They already started a new project. Then spatial computing. If you take the space into account, there are a lot of possibilities and hardware support, like motion trackers, like all this VR, AR hardware you get to know here. Also drones get used and fly around. So a lot of interesting parts that you can use to apply your application in space, let's say. And game spaces takes the same idea, but in the games domain. And here you see that's a lecture again shared with digital arts. We are cooperating with the Ars Electronica Center, and maybe you have heard of the Deep Space, this big room, big installation. You have projection on the wall and on the floor, and you have a motion tracking system there. And there you can build applications. How to do this, we show here. Then we have our web online track. Hypermedia UX engineering talks about the front-end part of things. So we have people from the industry coming in, alumni that made our program, that are now working in companies, in big companies and successful companies. And they show their workflow. We talk about different frameworks, front-end frameworks, and also do small projects here. Hypermedia frameworks in the second semester looks at the back-end side of things, but not only how frameworks are used, but how they are built. So you really understand what's going on beneath, so to say. So you could build your own framework if you want to, or you're very familiar then with all the parts and all the topics that you need to know when a new framework comes around. For example, intelligent media. Here you learn how ChatGPT works, for example. You learn about large language models and build applications in this domain. Big data, when the amount of data scales up, for example, you have a study and you just want to store all the clicks that a lot of people do on a website. You have a large amount of data and you have to store this somehow. You have to manage it, you have to search in it, you have to visualize it. And how this is done, you learn in big data. Okay, and then we have our last lane here. Sorry. We have two special topics. Those are placeholders, so we are a little bit flexible if new topics arise or we have a guest professor or so. So this might change, but right now, in the first semester is physical prototyping. So you build some applications with Arduino or Raspberry Pi. And in the fourth semester, right now, it's learning in the games domain. And then we have 2 lectures that are actually in German, Datenintensiver Journalismus, Grundlagen und Praxis, because we work together with local news agencies, with Oberösterreichische Nachrichten, with APA and so on, and we have people coming in, because the Presseclub asked us they need a program for the journalists, because they need to do their websites, they need to do small games on the websites and interacting, and they have to visualize data. And how could we have such a program? And we detected we have all the foundations that they need, but what we need is a little bit background, how workflows are in those companies, what is research, fact-checking, and all of this. So that's what's here. So applying all our knowledge in this journalism domain. Okay, so that's the catalog. And you have to take every semester 2. You don't have to stay in a lane. You can switch around and are quite flexible of electives that you want to choose. So some projects. I have some examples here. So that's the image time machine. So the students gave stable diffusion was the machine behind a current photo, and told it move it back to the past. And that's some results that came out. Then we have our climate change visualization. There's a lot of open data around from the measurement systems. We took those and tried to visualize it and show how things change. That's our mold printer, where they build some hardware and apply mold bits in petri dishes, and you see how those images grow. So it was a fun project that you can do here, and they even animated something. Style guide generator, that's an AI or LLM project where you say, I need a new style guide. Those are my requirements. Please give me some style here. Then that's a deep magic game, co-located multiplayer game. You see it's a VR application. That's already the next game with gaze interaction. So you look at things and interact with it. So we tried about this. So you have to remove those parts flying around in space by looking at them, for example. Then this project is simulating weight in VR applications. We just see the VR part, but they actually also had some hardware attached so that you can feel how this is. Then we have this interaction also with textiles. So that's some of our research, something that we do in our research lab. We try how we can make textiles that are interactive. And here, that's a project where we try to automate editing of live streams. You saw that it detects the speaker and then switches the camera automatically. So a lot of different projects. It's far not all of them. Every semester we have a lot of new projects, and it's really fascinating what people are able to manage and create in our program. So I already mentioned our research lab. So just a short introduction to this. So we have some topics that we try to do projects in. We have the games and playful experiences. That's the deep space in the Ars Electronica Center where we cooperate. We are also always in the AAC festival in September and have some exhibitions there. Then we have intelligent web applications, LLM applications, RAG systems. For example, one was about risk management for companies uploading their files and data and requirements, and then the LLM looked for similarities and what risks could be. Then we have this smart and tangible group. We already have seen the one project that was part here. User interfaces is a very general term. For example, they now have a nice project doing a virtual Dulcimer, so a Hackbrett. So they try to be able to play it without sound and to interact with it. It's also a fun project, but again, a lot of things that are here. Then visual computing. One project is the Bambi, how it's called. and they fly over areas of wood and try to count the deer in the wood. So they are cooperating with the hunters, and they need to know how many deer are in this area, and so they try to detect those things. Okay, this was just a quick insight here. So what can students expect in our program? Well, we have substantial coursework I showed you in the curriculum. The courses are in English. Projects from the very beginning. We have small groups, so our project groups we calculated with groups of 2. Sometimes there's a single project, sometimes there are 3, but the norm is 2. Only the thesis project you have to do on your own, because you have to write your own thesis, of course. We also ask you to get involved in teaching as teaching assistants for our bachelor's programs, and also the possibility to get involved in research projects if you're interested in that. What do we expect? Well, creativity. Of course, you have seen the projects, a lot of ideas have to go in there, that they can be created. Then solid IT skills, so you should know programming, to be honest. Interest in details, so if you write your master's thesis, it will not be, for example, about the whole electric car, but only a little bit of the clutch. How can we optimize this? So we really dive deep into things there. Open-mindedness, and it's a full-time study, but as I told you, part-time jobs are possible, also in our research lab. Application deadline May 31st for non-EU, non-Austrian residence permit, because the visa process takes its time, so that's a little bit earlier. EU citizens or citizens that already have Austrian residence permit can apply until June the 30th. Maybe you already know the link. We have a prerequisite sheet where you should input the courses you already have in the IT related area, some English self-assessment, and your pre-existing experience and projects in EM topics you should write there. And then we have an interview. Typically we do it remote, half an hour to get to know each other. We will talk about your background. We will talk about our for example, electives. What would you be interested in? And just get to know each other. Okay, so that's interactive media. Thank you for your interest. I'm here for questions if you have any, and have a nice day for the rest of the day. Thank you.